What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Friends of Mortgage Heroes. I'm Andy.
I'm Brian.
And today we have with us the West Coast Property Bros. We have Isaac and Tristan. Welcome to the show, guys. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, appreciate you guys inviting us on.
Yeah,
So,
definitely.
I know that you guys had recently started podcasting, and we were talking a little bit right before the show about this venture into long form shows. But I want to know more about you guys to kind of set the stage of what we're going to talk about today. You guys are in real estate and in finance, just like we are. So we're competitors. No, we're not.
Yeah.
We're not competitors. There is so much out in the world for everyone to have their own little piece of success.
Yeah,
I believe. So
I love it now because even before when it first got started, it was I probably want to reach out to that loan officer. But now I feel like everybody's just so open to collaborating and what's working for you. Oh, that's not. Oh, okay, cool. You're doing that. And I feel like collaboration overcame competition. And I feel like, everybody could get along. There's enough cake for everybody to go around.
yeah.
Exactly.
And so today I want to talk about that a little bit. You guys are really good about sharing straight talk with real estate insights, especially to Gen Z. And that's going to kind of be the focus of what we do today. You guys are on social media, all over Instagram. You guys are on YouTube. So if you are watching this are not already connected to these guys, make sure you go check out their accounts. Their description, their links will be in the description box below. But you guys, I am so excited to hear your backstory, how you got here today, and then where you're going next. So you guys, welcome to the show.
Awesome. Yeah.
Thank you so
appreciate
much.
it.
Yeah, we appreciate it.
So you guys have been on a little bit of a tour, right? You're doing all these podcasts because I know we're not the only one you're doing today.
Yeah.
And later you're going to talk to Serge, who we just did a show with as well.
Nice.
So, what's kind of brought you to this place in business and in life? And tell me a little bit of that origin story.
Yeah. I mean, it all started when we first joined the same real estate team. Part of EXP, and I moved my whole life from the Bay Area down here to San Diego, and the team is based out of San Marcos up north in San Diego County, which a lot of people here don't consider that San Diego. Come to find out, and I'm still San Diego County.
He found out,
right? But we met the same real estate team, and from there we just kind of grew closer. He eventually told me I want to get close to this guy, and then eventually turned into accountability buddies. And then from there, we kind of just ventured off and started doing our own thing and started West Coast Property Bros from there.
Well, there's no way you would have known this, but just a couple of weeks ago, we had Joe Mendoza on our show.
Oh,
so
okay.
You guys might know Joe. He goes by Coach Joe Mendoza. He's
Yeah.
up there at EXP as well, but in San Marcos. So he's close with you, close in vicinity with you guys.
Yes.
But 30 years experience, been in the game, and now does commercial. So a lot of EXP happening around here these days.
Right, right.
Yeah, they were growing pretty quick. And I guess just to highlight something really quick, I guess the reason why, because he mentioned that I decided to make the relationship, right? But one thing that I saw was the ambition, the drive, the certain qualities of a person that that they're going to be successful in life. It's something that I very, very am specific and intentional with who I build relationships like that. And the fact that he moved his entire life just with what fit in his car in a backpack, stuff like that. Even some of my old mentors on the team were hyping this guy up, and I was all right, I need to find out who this guy is, what's going on, So from there, it just kind of, like he said, just kind of developed. I think we went out to lunch one time after we went at the office, and it was just all business talks, right? Hey, how can we collaborate? How can we help each other be successful? And how can we continue to grow and just become the people and achieve our dream, And ever since then, it just kind of became developed, and it was just all right, this guy's my brother from another brother.
So the mystique became real, huh?
Yeah.
Oh man,
this character is actually he's a real dude. Oh wow, that's amazing.
Shoot, I want to meet him. It's funny because we're big here on relationships and aligning yourself with the people that have the same purpose as you. And I think it's beautiful that you're able to tie your wraps with somebody that has the same vision as you, and then you're able to come together and start building something from nothing. You guys were in a team, and now you're off on your own venturing and doing things on your own.
Exactly.
How exciting is it to be able to switch from that team dynamic to just running you two solo?
I mean, I think it really started off creating what you said, the right relationships, the right partnerships to get to where we're at today. To be honest, we didn't know how to set up our own LLC to start our own company, and we're how the hell do we do that? Luckily, we have ChatGPT.
Hey, I was going to say,
utilize technology,
Right.
especially growing up, our age and our dynamic. That's all we, I was lucky enough, blessed enough to see the life without technology, but then also the evolution of it.
Yeah.
So it's been a lot of fun, and just to incorporate different things and be resourceful. More importantly.
I love that.
It was very fearful, just to sum it all up. Like you asked, what's that new venture like? What was it taking being a part of a team versus now going solo? It was very, very fearful, because at that point it was, a lot of uncertainty, just kind of like, man, like, are we making the right decision? Like, we were already in a kind of a tough place, when we made that decision.
Yeah, we started from like bottom of the barrel, like nothing. Like we're already pretty down low, and starting off again, something brand new was something we're like, do we even want to take this step with nothing this time?
We kind of asked ourselves, like, what else is there to lose by taking this extra risk? And at that point, I mean, it honestly pushed us a little bit further, and we actually found way more success having made that decision. And I mean, it's been a blessing.
But that weaves in really well with the content you guys make. Like, I mean, just in knowing you in a short amount of time and only through a screen until now, like you're saying that same fear. You're talking to people who, on the other side of making a purchase decision or a flip decision or an investment decision, are feeling some of those same feelings too. Yep. And so your relatability to be able to do that from a firsthand account, even though it's in creating the business and creating the channel and creating all this other stuff you're talking about with each other, you're helping other people overcome those same things, and they're just as young as you, if not younger. And so I think there's something really what's the word? It's not genuine. That's not like, there's something
authentic?
really honest about that. Yeah. There's just something really honest about that. Like, hey, look, we get it. But what's interesting to me is that you're describing feeling that way about this venture. But like, when I listen to your content, you're trying to instill that confidence in the people that might be feeling that way on the other side of the screen. Yeah. I think that's super cool. Do you go, hey, no, be bold about it. Be confident. You can do this. And it seems like it's a little bit of your own medicine too, a little bit.
Yeah. It's like a learning experience that we both kind of are still learning, every day, but we're trying to relate to people that we're doing this with you.
Yeah.
We're not perfect. We're still building our business, but if you're out there, we just started ours. We're telling you, we know it's possible because we did it. Now go do it.
That's one of the things that I feel a lot of people hold back on, is being vulnerable on those situations when you're first getting started, because you want to feel like, oh, I got it all down. I'm the shit. Right. We got it all dialed in. But I've realized and I've learned that when you're opening up, you're being vulnerable at those tough times, those hardships, those obstacles in the initial years, people feed into that a lot more than when you're talking about your accolades, about what you've done, because they themselves see themselves not being able to do it. And when they see someone like themselves doing it, they're like, well, what's different than I? Not that much of a difference. They just took action. And I think that's the biggest point that we drive when we're doing content, because we're not crazy professionals. We're not, super famous, but we show up every day. We do our content because we know that's what needs to be done.
Yeah. We're just us.
Yeah. Exactly. At the end of the day.
Well, you guys are all younger than me. So you're just you. You guys don't talk to each other at your 20s and whatever. I'm in that 40. I'm second half of the 40. Man, I said second half of the 40s on a podcast.
I heard that for the first time. I'm like, there's second and first halves?
Garrett.
Positive way to look at it.
Garrett and Yessie from Synergy Effect.
Oh, yeah.
Garen's like,
there you go.
I didn't know there was a second half of your 40s. I'm like, well, I'm in it, bro.
Just to kind of relay on that too, it's trying to break the stigma of what social media is.
Yeah.
Right? Like everybody always posts their wins. Everyone's always like posting their highlights, life's greatest hits, and it's just like, no, like it's destroying that illusion that everybody's life is perfect on the other side of the screen, like that is not true.
Well, and before that is all the hard work. It's like, it might look like that by the time it gets to Instagram, but what got there was all the sweat and all the craziness and all the chaos. Yep. It just looks good at the end, which is the goal with the end in mind. But man, it's never pretty along the way. Like we didn't just start day one in the studio like this, guys. Like I told you, like
it was naked.
No, we did a studio refresh in December 24. It didn't look like this, prior to that. So
so even with our, like you said, with our own content, like that's something that we're trying to destroy. It's just like, hey, like it's raw, it's authentic, it's genuine. Like this is our actual journey. And when we're also kind of, going on our interviews and talking with other people, like we're talking about that part of their journey, like, because you can look up anybody's wins and accolades
100%.
and like, what they've achieved and all that stuff. You have LinkedIn, you have like Wikipedia if they're big enough, stuff like that. but what got them there, you know, because nobody started at that point. So like that's kind of what we try to dissect and analyze when we're going out to in our own journey. And because I think at the end of the day, that's what gives you that personal relationship with somebody, is that you're able to bond over like trauma, you know, just like hardship in general, you know. So I think that's kind of like the big
you know, it's funny because I feel that once you're able to be, you know, open with somebody else, it's almost like they let their guard down. And I feel that if you're sooner to let your guard down, they're going to open up quicker instead of trying to play that who's going to unlock each other first.
Right.
Just, you know, come with your hand, with your heart on the sleeve, and just be open about it. And one of the things that I wanted to actually go back to, you said earlier, was we're more resourceful. And, you know, tying it down to the Generation Z, I've realized that, you know, they're very resourceful by the time they get to the point of wanting to pull the trigger and buying a house and wanting to, you know, get a new venture. It's like they use all their resources and then they're like, all right, who's going to help me get there? I know what I want. How do I unlock this? Is that something you guys are seeing from the younger generations as they're, you know, looking to get into business, entrepreneurship, and even content creation?
I feel like even like going through certain comments, you know, you get the hate comments, and then also even talking with friends and family. I think even social media is a big downside to them, because depending on what they watch, the algorithm suggests certain things, and they may be watching something that they shouldn't be hearing, or it is false, you know. And so I feel like them learning off YouTube, you know, the AI generated videos people are trying to make money off of without trying. They just click a button and then post it just to get some views and money. They're watching maybe the wrong videos that aren't resourceful to them, and they think that that's the right path and that's where you should be going and that's the right knowledge. But, you know, I feel like they need to be paired with people where someone that does have the professional knowledge in that field in real estate, especially what we're a part of, very difficult time, you know, to go out and tell them like, hey, you know, what is the right path for you, you know?
I think what tends to happen too, especially like, and I say this even on a personal level, right, is analysis paralysis, right? Like you can be resourceful all you want, but when you're too stuck doing too much research instead of taking action, like I said, I can relate to that even myself, just because I always want to make the perfect decision, right? When I move forward, or like being as least risk adverse as possible, right? But I think kind of like Tristan said, like consuming the right content and just kind of being, you know, breaking the comfort zone of taking the action that you need to take, but also being surrounded by the people that are living the life you want to live. You know, I think that's, I mean, I think for us personally, like that's kind of what's helped us in our journey is, you know, being resourceful and getting the answers to questions that you don't know necessarily, but more importantly, surrounding yourself with the people that are doing it so that you can actually like follow along in their footsteps, you know? Yeah,
it sounds like, I feel like, you know, it's more common for us to want to learn from peers than it is from somebody that's, you know, maybe a lot more famous than us, because I feel that we see each other inside regular people like you guys. There's probably people that you guys inspire, but then you look at somebody that's already doing it. Like you can't go up to them and say, hey, how do I do what you're doing? Well, you kind of have to reverse back and say, well, what can I do in this situation to get to where you want to be? And I feel like the people on the ground that are like us, that are, you know, doing our business, showing up, we also give influence to a lot of, you know, younger people, because they might want to do something that we're doing. They see someone famous doing it, but they could probably connect with an individual like us a lot more than someone that's, you know, famous. Do you guys feel that you can leverage that a lot more to influence the younger generation?
I feel like we could. I mean, I don't really know how to take that.
It seems like you have like three competing thoughts at the same time, right? Because it's kind of like a willingness thing, right? Like people have to be willing to step forward and say, hey, I want to do that too. Like, can you be my guide, right? So there's that. There's the breakthrough part. Can my message break through to the people that I hope will have that? And then it falls onto our rung too. It's like, well, I even make the content so it has a chance to get to the person who might ask the question.
Exactly.
So like there's these tiers to it, but you know, maybe to summarize it, why is it important that at your age, you talk to people that are at your age about home ownership, about real estate, about investing? Why is that so critical for you guys?
It's a really great question. You know, I one of my favorite questions to ask people when they reach out to me about that is like, why? right? Like, why do you want to learn about it? Why do you want to go down that route? I highly, probably 99% of the people that are in the industry or that kind of like, I guess most people want to become a homeowner, but at least people in the industry, like nobody wakes up one day and just like, I want to do mortgages, you know, like no, like I haven't met very many people that have.
I didn't dress up in Halloween as a realtor or lender, bro. Yeah.
Title, escrow.
I want to be an escrow agent.
Yeah. So unless you're a kid of an escrow.
I always try to go in a much deeper level of like, okay, why do you want to go down that route? Why do you want to become a homeowner? And, you know, like, do you know what it means to be a homeowner, right? You have to do maintenance and you have to, you know, like, taxes and like different other things that you know kind of fall into that bubble. So my biggest question is always why, and then based on their answer, you know how to provide the resources or the guidance, you know, that they need in order to just move them 1%.
Yeah.
You know, because it's not going to happen overnight. So one thing that we always try to like let people know as well is just like, hey, like this is a journey. Like especially, I think what the median age of first-time home buyers is 32, 34.
It's in the 30s now.
Like
Yeah.
in the 30s. And
Used to be in the 20s. I've been around 20 years. It used to be in the 20s, and
I think Gen Z is starting to become like late 20s. I think like 25, 26 ish around there. And you know, it's almost like, I mean, I'm 26 myself, you know, so kind of having this sort of impatience of like, oh my God, like why am I not there yet? Why am I not there yet? It's almost like a race against yourself, I think, in like a personal level.
I love that.
You know, and
what would you tell the people who might feel like it's getting out of reach already? What would you say to them?
You know what? Start with a plan. You know, as long as you understand why you want to do it, I think setting a plan and working backwards. Like, I mean, the goal is to become a homeowner, but to understand what it truly means to afford a home, right? What is the monthly payment? What is the down payment? You know, even understanding basic terms, you know, what it even means, right? Like I know a lot of like the lingo, the vocabulary that's used in the industry. It's common to us folk that are in the industry, but to the common everyday person, like what is escrow? What is, you know, homeowners insurance? You know, what is stuff like little things like that? Like that's kind of what I think the answer to simplify everything is education.
Yeah.
You know, the more education we're able to provide and the more education we can supply to everybody in simplest forms is what's going to help close the gap, I think, for that.
I really like the approach that you mentioned. You know, you ask them, you know, why it is that they're buying, because now you're looking at it from a consultation point and advising them rather than looking at them and saying, well, this is what your solution is. I've learned that 99% of the time when you take that approach, you're almost not telling them what to do, but just guiding them to where they need to be. Yep. And 10 times out of 10, they thank you for that a lot more than just you trying to stick a solution that may not fit them, but it sounds good in your book because you think that that situation is exactly like the one you just had. But in real estate, everyone's situation is unique. Everyone's situation is different. And although it could be similar, it's always different.
I like to think we have like every single client or prospect, you know, that we have, I like to think of it as a blank puzzle.
I like that.
Every single puzzle or client is its own unique puzzle, right? And some are harder than others, some are bigger and more complicated than others, some are easier.
Some take more time.
Some take more time, some take less time. But at the end of the day, like our responsibility is to piece the puzzle together and help them understand and build it with them.
So Tristan, what do you find yourself telling people or maybe needing some, like, not enlightenment, but some like encouragement? Like what is something you kind of go to like remind them of or tell them about when maybe they're feeling like they have some barriers to overcoming being a renter into being a homeowner or being just a homeowner and becoming an investor? What do you find yourself like inspiring people with?
Yeah, totally. I mean, of course, everyone's overarching goal is home ownership, right? But how do you even get there? Like what, I'm going to piggyback what Isaac said. I kind of go through kind of a discovery phase, you know, with them to ask like what their situation is currently. And like what Isaac said too, what is the end goal? Like, why do you want to own a home and where? Because I feel like part of my own journey, even with business, I feel like applies to home ownership too, is what's your big why?
Yeah.
What's your purpose and where? I feel like those are three big things about why I moved down here. Personally, to start my business also applies to home ownership. So if you're able to sit down, date yourself, figure out like what you want to do with those big three things, because those take a long time to decide, go ahead, do it. but it takes a long time.
Do you feel like you get a lot of resistance from people in your same age range right now, or is there like an openness to this concept of either buying real estate or investing, especially on the investment side?
Yeah.
I feel like what I notice, and we talk about this a lot because we're in two different generations, but I feel like Gen Z is way more open to looking at real estate as a place I can live and also have cash flow with and long-term investment holding if I choose to, versus the generations that was like maybe mine or even the one ahead of me, which is like, no, the home is where you live and you raise your kids. Like, that's it.
Yeah.
And that whole paradigm is completely shifted.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I feel like there's a new way to invest now with Bitcoin, stocks. I don't know what else out there you can invest in, but people are finding other ways that seems easier to them to invest in rather than real estate that seems in their mind very complicated. And to just invest in crypto or stocks right behind your screen takes less effort for someone to do now, like with our generation to do.
I think it's instant gratification.
Yeah.
Everyone wants the next big, like with crypto specifically, right? Overnight, boom, people are making 1,000%
Right.
return.
Trying to hit those home runs, right?
Hit the home run every time, and thankfully one of our mentors, he's saying you don't have to, right? Every at bat you get, every business opportunity or every life opportunity you get is an at bat. It's okay to hit a single. It's okay to hit a double, but occasionally, when you hit the home run, celebrate and, it's a big win. But at the end of the day, taking it one step at a time, I think is what's most important.
I feel one of the things I see more in the characteristics of Gen Z is that they're more aggressive with, the way that they're investing because they have a lot more information disposable to them, helping them make better decisions or more educated decisions, I should say. And I think that's what prompts them to be a little bit more, down to be able to buy a house that maybe they're only going to live in it for 1 to 2 years and then flip that into a rental. And I think that's a lot of the mindset that I'm seeing with a lot of the military buyers, the young first-time buyers that we're working with, is that they know what they want. They know what it takes to get it, and they just align themselves with people that can help them get there. And that's one of the things that when I first got started and when I spoke to younger people, they were just like, oh, I just want to get in a house to live in. Like, I just want to, just live in my house. Whereas now everybody that I'm talking to has in mind an exit strategy of how they can turn this into some sort of investment vehicle.
Totally. And I like how you bring up the military presence too. In San Diego is very prominent.
Huge.
And I've talked to, it's a very different conversation talking to someone in the military versus just someone else in our age group, even though we're both the same age.
Yeah.
They have a very different mindset. And I remember talking and having this conversation with a member of the Navy, and he knows exactly what to put down, how much he's making. And it's all for investment purposes. Yeah. Because you can utilize VA loan all you want. It's awesome. I wish I could.
Same. Shoot. If I knew what I knew now, I would have gone in when I left high school. Right. That would have been a different story.
But I feel like someone else in our age group that isn't military minded like that has a different thought process. They don't want to get into real estate. They'd rather just rent. They want to travel. Mm-hmm. Like a lot of us in Gen Z want to travel. I personally want to travel. But I'm taking the opportunity right now to focus on myself, invest in myself. So eventually I can get there, I have to make some sacrifices now. Yeah. But, eventually you get there. But a lot of Gen Z, they just don't want to stay put like their mom, their dad, their grandparents like they did before.
Do you feel like our younger generation is just more excited to get out of like the regular hamster wheel of living?
Like the rat race?
Yeah.
Like the traditional rat race?
Like the traditional way of living, that it's like, that's why they look at alternative routes that might get them to where they want to be quicker.
Well, it definitely feels like there's this desire to have a departure from that.
Yeah,
like they want to be completely separated. Like you're mentioning it right now. Like I want the freedom to travel. It's like not being locked into something or like let's say suppressed into something and have choice to go where I want, when I want, and be able to do that financially.
It's like experiences matter a lot more than just the things that you do every day. So I rather experience life because I feel that that's going to help me grow in different areas that I'm looking at for my life. And I think that the younger generation values experiences a lot more than the regular traditions. I'm not saying that they don't want that, but they're further away from making that happen sooner in their life, where they rather live, let me go out, let me invest, let me be young, and then I could get to that stuff. Whereas before, everybody was just quick to like, all right, let's, 25, cool, I got kids, all right, let's get married and just start that nuclear family. A lot of that has changed in these last couple of years, and even the dynamics I feel of couples, now they get together and say, hey, we want to buy a multi-unit family, a property, or hey, we want to invest before we get married, and it's a lot more more common now than I feel years before. And do you think it's because of all the information and social media that's out there?
I think it's a mix of both. Culturally as well, certain cultures kind of, move in certain ways as well. Like the past few years, I like to call it the age of information. I think we're entering now the age of wisdom, right? Where it's like now what direction, like how can we have clarity, right, of where we want to go, what we want to do. Like me personally, I'm Latino, right? I'm Mexican. And I think we've always, no matter where we're at, like our family, right, is what we consider a home.
Boom.
Like our dynamic of our family structure is home. It doesn't matter what brick and mortar we're at, where we live, like anything, So I think culturally it's slightly different, wherever you go. But I think overall in the generation, because of the social media aspect and everything, I think people just feel lost. Like they feel like they don't know where to go because there's so much overload of information. People are lacking wisdom. And I think by being, content creating or creating certain sort of, material that is purposeful of like, hey, let me show you the way, right? Let me just show you like how I'm doing it. And if you want my guidance or if you want anything else, like, our doors are open, but I think that's where a slight disconnect is that there's so much information out there, but not enough wisdom.
So do you think that observation is what's kind of helping you guys gain and increasing your credibility right now? I mean, because people are coming to you, they're making comments. Well, some of them are clowning comments, but there's always going to be those.
Always haters,
but what's funny to me is, I'm trying to ask you a question. I also have a point to make. Dang it. So what's funny to me is like, we get comments every once in a while too. And I'm like, and I don't look at it as a criticism. I go, oh, here's a chance for me to show ourselves in the response.
Right.
Because people will criticize, like, I can't believe you'd say that about the Fed, or I can't believe you'd say that about rates, or I can't believe you'd say that about this president, that president. Where I'm like, hey, listen. And, and then get to answer like, well, here's our answer. Here's your snide comment. And here's our professional response. And so I kind of look at it as like a little challenge. I love it. So make a bunch of those in this video, guys.
Right.
And then we're all going to dump in there.
Yeah, go ahead. Say something about my hair.
But do you think, say something about my hair too while you're at it.
Come on, bro.
Yeah, that's crickets. Someone's going to put, now someone's
that's messed up.
Now someone's
That's actually serious,
man. Anyways, the question I was going to ask you though is like, do you think that observation is what's helping build some of your credibility right now? Because people are coming to you and they're asking these questions. Like, is it just that awareness of, hey, we can have all the information in the world, but being wise about what you know is a whole different ballgame?
Well, I'll give you an example of like an interaction I've gotten. So when I've had actually a couple of people I went to college with reach out to me because of LinkedIn post or Instagram, or they're seeing my content and they're very inspired by it. And they're like, oh, dude, how are you getting your success? I want to pick your brain. Let's hop on a call. And I'm like, yeah, sure. Let's hop on like a 30-minute call and then go from there. And those 2 times I hopped on the call was more than 30 minutes because they had a lot to ask. And they're struggling because of the job market. They are not getting into the jobs that they want to. And so even though they want to buy a house or get into investments in real estate, they can't, even though that's their passion right now. So that's one thing. And 2, they're unmotivated right now because they can't find the job and make money. And there's one guy, he has a family, he's trying to support a relationship, he's trying to support. And then the other guy, he's not getting any deals because he doesn't know the right route to go. So I feel like on top of inspiring like people to buy a house, like how do you get into real estate too, is our also movement of our social media account. And I feel like there's also a specific way you got to go about it now on social media because our attention spans are very short within the first 3 seconds, apparently. Yeah. So we kind of coined this term, edutainment. And so,
dude, that's like literally in our description on YouTube. It says infotainment, but same idea. Yeah,
because you have to educate them, but how do you do that? In an entertaining way. Yeah. So edutainment has been the kind of word we've been coining.
The most recent video I saw you guys put up about the Fed and the next video is coming out, their next meeting is coming in September. I'm like, I'm hearing them talk to both audiences. To your point, it's like, this is what we're doing with our clients. So you're telling people behind the curtain, this is how we're doing it business operationally. We're doing these calls, we're doing these follow-up emails leading up to that point. And you're also telling in the description of what you're doing, you're also telling the clients, hey, this is what you should be ready for. I'm like, this is brilliant. This is super smart. It's a great job.
That's one of the things that I feel that, everybody has a power to do is be themselves on social media, and you don't have to do it the way that everyone does it. Like you just said it perfectly. As long as you're edutaining people, like they're going to leave like, oh, I was entertained. I was educated, therefore that's meaningful to me. And now you're like, you have someone that's going to go to you because they're getting both things. They're getting entertained, and at the same time, they're going to leave with the little nugget that is going to help them out, make a decision down the line.
Which at the end of the day that's what's building our credibility. It's just like,
because it's silly, but it works, and it's practical, and people like when things are practical and they could take it in like bite-sized pieces and then run with it. Whereas you look at a long-form content or like a webinar class, you're like, oh, now I actually have to like think and put things into like, perspective. Like, what if I could just take a 1-2 approach and then get started?
Right. And I don't know if this resonates with you guys, but I was also thinking like every time I hear or listen or hear something from someone that said a joke or said something that was funny in a presentation or just talking in person casually, I remember that moment a lot better. So I'm like, what if we're able to combine that? Boom.
Yeah. So, what kind of things did you have to personally overcome to like step into this space? Because like, I was having this conversation with my wife the other day. I'm like, not everybody wakes up and goes, all right, well, I got 2 shows today and another one tomorrow and 3 on Thursday. Like I have to like every once in a while have to remember, oh, that's not normal. So what is something that, I'll ask both you guys, but what is something you had to overcome to like step into this arena and do it this way?
I mean,
did you have
judgment?
Hesitations?
Yeah, honestly.
Fear of judgment.
Okay, we'll talk about that.
Highlight, because I mean, even personally, like I've always thought, like, oh man, like I went to high school with some of my followers, with like the people that follow my page and stuff like that, or like just like have a prior history with them, and it's just like, okay, like if they see me acting silly or they see me doing like certain things, it's just like whatever, But like I think just like honestly, like just not caring, like what people like following your purpose, I think is the biggest anchor, to pushing out content like that, because that it's for a reason. And when you're like in that headspace, it's much more intentful and purposeful, and it's like coming from a place of service instead of like sales or something. Like I even clarified in the video that I made with the Fed, I was like, look, like we're not trying to sell you anything. Like this isn't some like, yeah, we were kind of like sounded like an ad and like we're like talking about our programs and everything like that, but it was much more informational than it was like a sales tactic, and I think that's what's really made my heart full with the work that I've been doing. Is it's like I'm not like, I don't need your business, right? If you approach to me and you let me know, hey, this is what my plan, but I know we're not fit for each other, kind of like we were talking about in the morning with collaboration, like let me refer you to somebody else, right? Like somebody that can help better your situation, but I don't need your business personally because there's more than enough to eat for everybody. And I think that's kind of what's like been helping us, at least, or me personally, where it's just like not caring what people think. I don't need your business, and just being intentful and purposeful with what you're saying. And
wow, that's awesome.
That's powerful.
How about you, Tristan? What's something that...
For me, I was never this kind of person that you see today. It took a lot of growing to get to where I'm at, to be able to be open, vulnerable, I actually grew up being very shy, timid, anxious, all that. It was even hard for me to even go to like the hostess and even put our names down. It was that bad. Yeah. But to be
No way. Are you for real?
Yeah, I'm being for real.
Wow.
Yeah. I was growing up. I couldn't even do that.
I just wouldn't have guessed that. Right.
And it took a lot of growing from like that moment when I was younger to be able to not care about what people think or say or messing up, making mistakes, because around our whole society where we go to school, you can't make a mistake, especially growing up in like an Asian household where you can't get lower than an A or B, you can't make a mistake. And so
be honest, A minus, lowest, A minus, no B pluses.
Was math your first language?
Bro, no. So half our family is Pacific Islander, so there's a little bit of that carryover, and both my parents were teachers. Wow. No, they weren't harsh. So mom and dad, I'm not saying you're harsh, but there's like this standard that's like, this is the standard, right? Okay,
right.
Sorry, continue.
There's a standard, like they're not harsh, but like to an extent, yes, because they're hard on you, especially being the oldest in my family of my siblings.
And you were the oldest and a boy. Oh man, you had it all.
Yeah, exactly. So I got all the taking,
You're reining it in.
Exactly. But I had to set the example. I had to take it all. And growing up that way, it honestly wouldn't have shaped me for who I am today. So being able to break out of that eventually and just stop caring about what people think, especially my family and close friends think, and just putting it out there without even seeing it, just putting it raw and not even watching it. I was able to just
I love that. I've had to tell
stories.
I've had to tell people, because we do this a lot. Like I'm on our shows like all the time, but I also do a lot of other video for tons of other people. And something I have to like remind people of, especially we're in a service business, real estate, mortgage, talking about like insurance, life insurance, taxes, even like your reservations cannot stand in the way of your message getting to the people you're trying to help.
Yeah.
And it's just this thing that we have to like untwist, because the perception for so long has been, oh my gosh, this can be played on TV like regular media. Oh, I got to be a Hollywood star. Oh, I've got to look a certain way. I've got to sound a certain way. And it's like, dude, you got up and picked that outfit today for the public to watch you at the grocery store.
Right.
Don't come over here and tell me you're all nervous about getting on camera because you look the way you look.
Right.
I don't mean to be insensitive about it, but it's like at the same time.
Are you calling me ugly?
Not directly. I mean, I got a hair comment here and there, but not that I should be making hair comments. But like, it's like people sometimes will allow their own reservations to stand in opposition to the message of the value they're trying to bring. To your point, Isaac, it's like, I want to help you. And I'm going to have to dust this off again. Back when I was in sales and I was a younger guy like you guys, back in sales, I'm like, hey, look, I'm kind of like a surgeon. But what happens when people have a scenario and they come to the emergency room, they end up at the surgeon. So I would tell people, you're at the surgeon now. I'm not out on the street with my scalpel. Hey, who needs surgery? Who needs surgery?
Right.
But we've been taught that in training and sales, like go see how many people need surgery today, right? Go see how many people need loans and refinances.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah. But that's why I think that's why I'm going to dust it off again, because the perception about what we do has been so distorted over the last 10, 15, the entire career of real estate. Okay. And I think part of it's because people act that way, but I think I really resonate with what you said. When people, I don't need your business, but if you need help, I'm going to help you, because I want my message of how I can help you to hit you and find you where you're at. And being as old as I am now, guys, I'm going to tell you this. Sorry, I'm like rambling now, but I'm going to tell you this. There are people that will wait till the last minute to accept help because they're embarrassed or they're ashamed. And the trick for us is, how can we get to those people 2 steps before it's too late? Not 1 step before it's too late, 2 steps before it's too late. Don't call me the day before you're about to get a foreclosure. Don't call me the day before you're 30 days late on your mortgage. Call me a month ahead of time, 2 months ahead of time, and like ingraining that message so we can actually help people before they end up in really deep trouble.
Yeah, and to your point, Andy, I think what we've learned is that a lot of people have the same situations, but they hold themselves hostage because they don't want to raise their hand. But as they're hearing examples, true stories, case studies, and success stories of people that have the same problems, that's what influences, and what I've seen influence people to want to go and ask for that help. And I think it's by being honest, sharing the truth, and not putting too much sprinkles on the cake and saying, hey, it's going to be gravy and great, but just being honest. And I think nowadays through social media, people have seen the good videos, the raw videos, the people just talking straight to the camera videos, and they've realized what's real, what's not, what's fake, what's acted. And now when you're yourself and you stutter and you might say something's a little bit different, they're like, that person's true. That person's actually real. They make mistakes. I'm not trying to come out here and sound professional because I'm not an economist. I don't know everything about, the economy rates and all that stuff, but I do know how to find solutions in the mortgage space. Rates and all that just happen to be part of my business. And I think that's, the approach that helps a lot of people stand out, is just being honest and just, yourself, like you guys have been.
Yeah, we appreciate that. And it's like Tristan kind of mentioned, like it wasn't something that was just overnight, it's interesting because even in my own kind of feeds, when we all doom scroll every once in a while, just kind of checking it out. What I've noticed is a lot of the content that does get pushed out is that raw content, and it's interesting, right? Because like you would think that like the algorithm, maybe it's like much more like professional lighting and all these other different things. But what I've found is that it's been more that raw, authentic content, so that's even for our own kind of videos. Like he's literally following me around with a gimbal, like boom, and I just have a little mic, And we just try to make it like as real as possible.
You know what's super cool, and you guys don't know this because it basically started when you were babies, is like when reality TV became a thing, the nation at large was like fixated on it. Because like, oh my gosh, this is not scripted. Now I know TV has become scripted reality and all that, but in the beginning years, there were shows where it's like, this is completely unscripted, and oh my gosh, that thing happened, you caught it. But the realness of it like broke through this layer of the fakeness of, I shouldn't say fakeness, but you know, the
acting,
the hacking of Hollywood and TV, where everything was in perfect environment, everything had to sound right, look right, and reality TV kind of like broke that mold. And I think that we've run this cycle where people are like, oh no, it's got to be perfectly curated and this and that. And I know we're sitting in the studio and we got the lights and the cameras and all that. There's a reason for that, but there's also a reason why we just leave stuff in the show too, so we can look like this, but it's still going to have any gaffes we make. We don't cut stuff out when we make a mistake,
right?
Because that's how I am when I'm talking to you too.
Exactly.
I'm not going to talk to you different because I'm not going to have a script when I'm like, hi, thank you for coming today to Mortgage Heroes. I would like to talk to you about your,
never mind. Can I start all over again?
It's like raw answers, raw feedback.
But we've come through that loop though, I think, is we're back to, hey, just tell me straight up.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't have to be perfect, but just tell me the truth because I'm trying to make a decision over here. I'm trying to overcome this hurdle over here. I'm trying to make a choice over here. I'm trying to get my life in this right direction, whatever. Right. And I need a guide. I need someone to take me there.
And I think it goes back to what you also said, Tristan, about the attention span. Like nowadays, like you see a video first 3 seconds, oh, this guy's capping. Oh, this is cap. I don't want to watch this no more. But then you see something, you're like intrigued right off the bat. He's like just talking to the camera. You're like, let me listen some more. And you actually get a little bit more engaged. But when it's like right off the bat, very beautiful, you're like, what am I getting sold here?
Right.
What am I getting sold here?
Yeah.
And I think there's time and place for those types of videos. But in majority, like nowadays, I just see the organic, authentic content thrive. And I actually just draw myself more to it as well.
Mm-hmm. So funny enough, on Rich's podcast, he had a guest one time, Mr. Wes, right? Wes Watson.
Oh yeah,
and
that was awesome.
If you guys were,
I know who that is. Damn, he's going through some crap right now.
One thing he said though that really it honestly changed my life that day when I was watching him on Rich's podcast.
Yeah,
it was saying that the way this is practical to information is that when you use social media, it should be 80% a reality show and 20% commercials. Mm-hmm. You know, so that's kind of like the ratio and the mindset that we've taken with our pages and social media, where it's just like a majority of it is our life, right? He posted that we went fishing yesterday, and you know, I love to play golf and you know, different things like that, where it's just more, hey, it was our birthday, you know, just a few weeks ago. Showing that part of it because it resonates with people, right? Where it's like, oh dang, this person's a golfer. He loves, you know, trying new things. He's adventurous, you know. And then every now and then, oh, by the way, like download our free thing, you know, whatever, like if you need a one-on-one consultation, like we're here, right?
Yeah.
But like sliding it in there, not making it so much a focus into our page, but showing the authenticity aspect of it, I think. So that 80-20 rule, I think, is something that we read up.
And I think that's important because I don't know about you guys, but most of the time I don't go to social media to buy a house, to get a mortgage, to get in debt. I go in there to get entertained, to see what's happening with the culture, to see what's happening with my community. And every now and then you fall in a video like, oh, let me see it. And it's more of a testimonial or an example of something that happens. And I think those are the videos that are powerful because you start seeing yourself in those situations. And I think that's what helps people really, you know, say, oh, okay, I understand what I need to do over here. But social media, I feel, is a very powerful tool to just express yourself.
Right.
So why don't you guys tell me, like, what is it you see, you know, coming up for you guys? Like, what's the future look like? Like, paint a picture 6 months from now, 12 months now, 12 months, 18 months. Like, where do you want to be at? What are you hoping to be working on? Who are you hoping you would have helped at this point? What's it all look like?
Man, I feel like there'd be a lot of things 6 months from now. We definitely want to get to a point where the real estate side, we're doing like 3 escrows a month, you know. 3 escrows. He's doing the loans. I don't know what your goal is for loans, but
you know what? I think I don't necessarily like to tie ourselves down to a number specifically because that creates a lot of pressure on us.
Yeah.
You know, and then when you don't hit that or you do hit that, it's kind of like, okay, now what? You know, it kind of leaves this like emptiness, right? So what I look for is opportunity personally. And, you know, I'm wearing our home shirt today because we're actually a part of a nonprofit called the Hispanic Organization of Mortgage Experts, where we're studying and creating accessibility into specifically the Hispanic community to gain access to homeownership, right? Like, why don't we have Spanish loan documents, you know, like, or why is it paid extra, you know, to get Spanish loan documents? Just the education aspect of the Latino community in general, like, isn't as available, compared to other areas. And fun fact, actually, there's going to be 1 million Latino kids turning 18 for the next 20 years in our country. And
every year,
every single year for the next 20 years, at least 1 million Latino kids are going to be turning 18. And from us, and kind of aligning with my mission is overall just impacting our community in that scale, right? Working with Fannie and Freddie, to create loan programs, or even just tapping into the non-QM space, non-qualified mortgage space, to get non-traditional loans. Maybe people that have ITIN, or people that aren't citizens yet, kind of in that process. And that's kind of, I think, where opportunity is knocking for us, and for loans specifically in real estate. I mean, Latinos, kind of like we touched on earlier, they can create a home anywhere, but it's just having the accessibility of achieving that, instead of the American dream, right, in Latino space is to get to America. The American gift is to own a home, be a homeowner, and I think overall, that's kind of where the opportunity, even for myself, that's the whole reason why I became a loan officer a few months ago, is because to have more accessibility, to have more education right into that space, and to ultimately try to help grow that, close the gap a little bit. Actually, they're projecting Latinos to have this next year in 2026 $2.3 trillion in buying power, and their estimated closing is about $220 billion. So that is a huge gap between 220 billion and 2.3 trillion. And that's something that we want to try to close, as our nonprofit. And we work with everybody. There's no such thing as competition, kind of like we touched on earlier. Yeah. You can throw a rock in the neighborhood, right? Unless you closed every single loan in that neighborhood, come on, let's be real. So at that point, it's all about the collaboration, education of not only having the loan officers be well equipped, but of course giving back to the community and having that information available.
And I think that's very
no, go ahead.
No, I think that's important, because I feel like the Latino community really draws back on the experiences from their family, from their past people that lead them, and they stay there. If your family didn't progress that far, chances are that you're not, unless you fall under that characteristic where you're I want more, I need to search for more, but chances are that you're guided in a way where it's okay, this is what we're able to do. I know that's possible, but this is how far we go. And I think breaking down those barriers is huge, because like you mentioned, there's a lot of people that have that want, they just don't know the how, they don't have the information or the resources to actually make it happen, but they're qualified to do it.
Yeah. Well, so how about you, Tristan? Paint a picture of the future here a little bit. What do you want life to look like here next couple of years?
Next couple of years? Oh man.
It's Lamborghini.
Honestly, it's been a big goal of mine to live in San Diego. But within the next probably 6 months, we're probably going to move together so that we're able to start our business, grow it. Hopefully in San Clemente is the goal, because I feel like we've been doing business a lot in Orange County. So instead of making that drive through Camp Pendleton, let's meet in the middle and live there, home base, in the middle of Orange County.
It's a beautiful area,
it goes with your name, right? The SoCal.
I know.
Or right in the middle of it.
Yeah. Because it puts you can get to either one in just about the same per time. I said SoCal, I meant West Coast, sorry. But it puts you right in the middle of SoCal, all the time, right? So you can get to Orange County when you need to. You can bump down to San Diego, do another show with us.
Exactly.
So if there's something that you don't have right now that you think would really help you in your aspirations, what would that be?
Ooh.
Something you're thinking about. You're oh, this is keeping me up at night. Or, oh, wait, if I had this, I could do this. What is that thing?
Back when I was in college, I worked at a running shoe store, and I'm a big athlete myself. I grew up swimming competitively, USA Swimming, switched over to doing USA ATF and cross-country track through the rest of high school and then eventually into college. And honestly, running has been a big part of my life and very big passion. And through college, I started working at a running shoe store. And honestly, that was my biggest passion, and how I got into real estate is helping people in the running shoe store. It's not a running shoe store. It's a place where people get fitted for shoes in general. It doesn't matter what you're doing. Whether it is running, walking, hiking, even CrossFit, or just trying to find an everyday shoe. That's where it all started for me, is get connected with that person there that's in pain with their feet. and being able to make sure they walk out of the store happy. Or eventually, like I've had a few times where they came back in the store, not even looking to buy, but just to tell me like, hey, thank you for fitting me in these pair of shoes. Like, you made my day, you changed my life. And honestly, that was a very good feeling to me. They always hear that and have someone come back because of that level of service.
It seems like a really great training ground for what you do now too.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Where it's like, hey, we got to find something that suits your needs, fits the purpose you're trying to do. Like, it's not all running shoes are the same. That's why there's like running shoes stores. It's not the running shoe shelf. It's the shoe store.
Right. And so basically going back to your point, I would say, aside from real estate, I would love to tap into the commercial market, buy my own retail store, and start my own running shoe store. Like,
that's sweet.
That's my long-term goal. Yeah.
Full circle.
Because I really loved it that much, to be able to run my own business, but also operate the building that it's in.
Dude, when you do that, I'm going to come buy a pair of shoes from you, okay?
Yeah,
I'm going to come get fitted for a pair of shoes.
You go get fitted, I'll come buy a pair of shoes. I'm a Brooks guy. What do you wear?
I've tried all different brands.
What do you like? Oh, Hoka, okay.
Brooks, New Balance, On Cloud, like literally the whole shelf. I have to test all of it, because how am I supposed to be able to educate you on the shoes, you know?
That's awesome.
So, swimming, track, it's all about endurance. Do you feel that mentality of, enduring the tough, like cardio, just running, wanting to hit your limits? Do you think that translate over to the real estate side? What I mean by that is that, when things get hard, you got to have endurance to push forward, to continue to go. Even when your gas is done, you have to push through that. Do you think swimming, cross country help build endurance in business as well?
I feel like to some extent it did. I mean, it's the same thing. You're setting goals that you want to achieve by the end of the season. There's a race that you want to get to and win, or get a certain time by to qualify. So I guess in some aspect, it did help me translate over to business, because it's in a similar mindset.
Competitive.
And you got to be competitive. You got to know how to set goals. How do you strategize a plan to work up to your accomplishing your goal? You're not always going to be able to accomplish it. There's some times where you do fail, and being able to go past that bad race where it was very embarrassing probably to finish that race, and many times in some cases. So to be able to go through the pain, the suffering, I would feel like translates over into what we do today.
Yeah.
It's a lot of going past fear, waking up early, having to grind maybe once, twice, 3 times a day, even in college. On top of, going to school and working. So, but also making time to, enjoy your own personal life.
That's powerful, man. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So, we do this quite often, usually on our own with guests, but this, I think, is the first time we've actually had four of us on the show. So
nice.
Actually, that's a
It's
first.
usually 1 and 2 of us, one of them.
Yeah, I've done a couple solo shows. I know you've done a couple solos, but this has been really cool, you guys.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, I feel like I've asked all the questions I was going to ask, but is there something maybe you're thinking I should have asked you that I didn't? Is there something you wanted me to ask you today that I didn't think of asking?
About
anything. Is there a topic you wanted to talk about that I didn't lob a question at? Isaac, no?
I mean, unless there's something that you feel like you need to get off your chest.
Yeah,
you want to talk about your running career?
You know what? I was a multi-athlete. Yeah, growing up, and wrestling was my bread and butter growing up. Like martial arts and everything like that. It was fun. It was cool. It was something that, kind of like you mentioned, I think it really helped shape the mental discipline. It was the foundation to mental discipline. Nice. You felt what it took to be a champion. And not just in the sport, but like in life, you always hear Tom Brady and, the greats, to that, like, hey, like sacrifice this and discipline that and go to practice, stuff like that. Like, success is boring, basically, is kind of what I was learning, where it was just like, man, like you have to do the same thing every single day. It doesn't matter what you do, like as long as it's moving the needle forward. And, but yeah, I mean, just being an athlete now, I just work out for fun in a way to like stay healthy, right? It's not necessarily like I'm not competing necessarily now anymore. although I would love to, it's not a completely closed out the window. But yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens. But
Yeah.
I think overall, it was great. It was a great conversation. We weren't, this is one of the first times, or the first time actually, that we've been on a pod together as guests. So.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, that's good. You guys did great.
Yeah, you guys great dynamic.
No, I appreciate it. It's been a lot of fun working with this guy and to just have the growth, not every day has been perfect. We always it's just the nature of business, right? You kind of have certain disagreements with certain things, or you have certain visions that may not align. And it's just kind of talking and having the communication where it's just okay, how can we just, we'll figure something out that works for the both of us and that works overall for what our mission is and everything,
Yeah, I like to add too, it's not boring at all. Ever since we got to this point, it's been a movie, I gotta say. Ever since we partnered with the partners now and started West Coast Property Bros back middle of April, it's literally been a movie. I don't know how else to describe it, but there's been a lot of ups and downs.
I love that
but
for you
honestly, life, you wouldn't be enjoying life if it wasn't interesting. If it's just boring, why? What are you doing? You're doing it wrong.
You're so right on that, because there's times where we have deals and I'm like, this is gonna freaking make me rip my hair off. But then you get through and you're like, let's go. What's next? What wall do I want to go through?
Okay.
And I think that's the beauty of this business, that it's never gonna not be exciting if you don't let it be. It's always gonna have something that's gonna throw you off. But that's the challenge that we signed up for, and that's part of our journey to be able to find solutions for those tough fights, and I love it.
Yeah. No, this has been super good, you guys. I'm really excited for what you're doing. I mean, and I love that. I love the younger generation stepping into this content arena, because it can get cluttered really quickly. I know we talked about that earlier in the conversation, where it's how do you cut through with the truth versus the untruths of things? How can the right content get to the right people to help them make the right choices? Moving from, having knowledge and then turning it into wisdom. I think all those are really core tenets of what's going to help people make quality choices moving forward, because on the other side of the camera, I'm constantly looking things up. I'm trying to find, who's the credible and trustworthy voice to help me fix this problem, or help me get this thing, or help me maneuver this other thing. And so I'm very proud of you, and I'm impressed at what you're doing. I know it's early still, but I am so grateful for you guys even taking a chance on coming into the studio with us today. I mean,
appreciate it, boys.
This is our first time meeting in person, but not in social space. It's cool that you said yes and that you're here. And that now we're all kind of running in these similar packs as well. I mean, there's a crazy shift in energy that's happening in the podcast space, in the social media space, and in San Diego right now is a hotbed for content creation. Yeah. And I know I see it because I'm in it every single day, but it's not just me seeing it. Other people that live other places are like, dude, what's going on in San Diego right now? Hey, we're all making stuff, bro. There's studios popping up everywhere.
Yeah, micro studios. Jeez,
oh, man. So I just want to say thank you guys for coming here today. Thank you so much for giving us your time. And also being vulnerable along the way. I think that's super critical. And as an older guy, I'm so pleased to see that young in your career, because I think most people are going to miss that. And that's actually the key towards long-term success, is being truthful, being honest, being vulnerable, and seeking wisdom. So you guys are certainly on a right trajectory from my seat.
Yeah. And I appreciate you guys too.
Yeah, thank you.
No, of course. It was a great talk. I love having people that are relatively my age, nothing bad to me.
Yeah.
But it's just a different flow of conversation. I've been with them since 2017. I feel like, they've taught me a lot and I've grown a lot with them, but it's always nice and refreshing to speak to people that are, within my same, realm of thoughts, things that are happening around, the things that we're, interested in, because it's, in a little bit, it's going to be our turn to be the older guys, and we're the next up in line to be able to lead this industry. So I'm excited for that.
I love that, dude. You before we sign off though, I know you have rapid fire questions, don't you?
Yes, I
do. You have those ready for today?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Yes, I do.
We're gonna do some rapid fire real quick.
All right. So the first one that comes to mind is dream neighborhood in San Diego if money was not an object.
I would do Coronado.
I think La Jolla.
Oh, okay.
Those are two great choices.
Yeah, I know. Shoot. Something clients do that secretly cracks you up.
I I feel like there's a lot here.
It's like when they don't sign the BRE.
Oh, I thought I signed that, or they just signed it without reading it.
Oh, what did I just sign?
Is that the craziest?
We had our client, this last one that we just helped. Shout out to him if he's watching this.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just trusted us so much, man. He was just like, you know what, like, I don't even care what it says. Like,
Hey, yo, what did I sign?
Yeah, you know, but it's just,
No, you didn't
again,
even ask
like,
that.
the authenticity aspect, like, we know we're gonna take care of him,
Yeah.
you know, and
I love that.
it was funny, you know, when it
that's
gets to that point.
All right. Biggest purchase after your first commission?
Ooh. Honestly, didn't really have a big purchase.
Smart.
Yeah.
I can't say the same.
Rent.
Dude, that's up there. Yo, I like that.
About the next month of my living.
I'm paid for living. Oh, man. If your business was a car, what model would it be and why?
Ooh. Well, I drive a Honda, so I picked it strategically to drive a Honda, but now I wish I had a hybrid because I drive a lot more. So probably another Honda that's hybrid, you know?
Reliability.
Right?
It was if our business was a car, is that
Yeah.
the question? You know what? Yeah, I would agree with that. Like a hybrid, you know, because you're able to be flexible, have momentum, but also be like, you know, like strategic where you're just kind of planning things out. So I would say
Yeah.
that. Like
I can't go full
like
electric yet.
Wait, what's yours?
Oh, that's a good question. I'd probably be like a Porsche, a
Dang.
911.
Do you want to know what mine is?
A lot of maintenance.
It's a bus. I want to take everyone with me.
Ooh.
I love that.
Let's go.
What kind of bus?
Get me a
VW
bus. I want a big old yellow bus, bro.
Oh, let's go.
I want the yellow bus with like 25 rows, 2 on each side.
I love that.
Yeah, you get 50 people in that beast. I was gonna say something else.
The cool bus.
Yeah, the cool. It's just gonna say the cool bus.
Yeah.
Just cross out the SC. Yeah.
All right. One underrated habit that keeps you productive.
Solo time, I would say. Yeah. I like going on the beach by myself, listening to music, and take my journal with me.
That's powerful.
Because honestly, like sometimes I get in my own head
Yeah.
and I need to write it down or just, you know, jam out on the beach. Like a lot of people probably don't see me like running a lot, so, but if you do see me running, like I got my earbuds in and honestly I'm dancing while I'm running, like, or like when I'm on the beach I'm like doing my own thing. I don't give a shit, so I'm just gonna
Recalibrate
tune it out,
on your
yeah.
own.
Most people out here suffering while they're running. This dude's dancing.
Yeah, I know. But I'm over here like.
You should have seen when he took me on a run one time. I was literally dying.
He's like,
3 mile
bro,
short
what do you
run.
mean? You ready to go?
Trying each other's sports is over here tackling this guy on the
man.
rest of the net. So what about you, Isaac?
You know, not a lot of people know this about me. I think playing the piano. You know, I've
Really?
been a pianist
Yeah,
for
he's really good.
about 11, 12 years.
Bro, that's amazing.
And it's like something that I haven't really openly shared, you know, in all honesty. And I think when I'm in a funk or like I kind of just need to have that expressive creativity, I think playing the piano really, you know.
You know what's
I love that.
You know what's interesting? Both of you guys said something that resembles rhythm. Like I feel like when you're playing the piano, you got to follow a rhythm. When you're running and you're dancing, you got to follow a rhythm. And then that's your guys' place. You guys go back to recalibrate, which to me it seems like you guys go back to just recalibrate and find your rhythm.
Exactly. That's a good way.
That's
to
cool.
That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
I mean, I just kind of popped in my head. I'm like, that's
Hey,
interesting.
maybe all these old years being an old man next to you is rubbing off.
I think it is that wisdom, bro. I think that wisdom's trying to sprinkle over here, bro.
Keep your hair if you can.
Yeah, I know, man.
That's hilarious.
Appreciate that wisdom. All right. Funniest or weirdest thing you've encountered during a showing?
Oh my God, I have one.
Funniest thing.
Or a walkthrough?
I can't really think of any right now. I'm kind of brain farting.
That's a good question. That's funniest thing encountered during a showing.
Or craziest or weirdest?
You know what? Like it's actually been like pretty clean. You know, like we
That's
haven't
good,
really
bro.
had like other than like
There you go.
like struggling with the lock every now and then. It's like that's embarrassing. You know, it's just like, dude,
Yeah,
why
no,
can't
it was opening.
why can't I unlock? Like there's like 20 keys on it, just can't unlock the door. But like honestly, it's been pretty like straightforward, you know, like at least on my experience.
Like, or I'm just brain farting right now. I just can't.
You
think of
guys,
any. It just seems normal, I guess, to do like.
No, I have to tell you something that happened, Brian. You don't even know the story. I have to tell you this. When I was younger in my career, probably my first like 5 years, I was helping some friends of mine buy a house, and I was not a real estate agent, but I was like, hey, I can go with my cousin, and we'll go show you these places. And so we go into this house. And we get to the master bedroom, and there is this very provocative photo above the master bed, like on the wall. And it's of the lady who owns the house in like a fur coat, from head to toe, and like this cougar looking look.
Yeah.
And just the coat, covered, but just the coat. And I was like, and this is the master bedroom?
I'm not cut out for this shit.
Let's go see the walk-in closet real quick. I was like, oh, I felt so awkward because I hadn't been there before, and so we walked in. I'm like, oh my god,
You will never unsee that.
oh no, I'm telling you about it now. It happened 15 years ago, probably.
Still hasn't unseen it.
Wait, did they get that house or no?
No, no. But
Was that a deal breaker?
No, but when people ask like, hey, has anything ever embarrassing or weird happened to you? I'm like, yeah, definitely yes. It was walking into this room unexpectedly, and there's a very provocative photo of the owner.
Oh, you know what? It wasn't at a showing. It was actually,
here we go.
Yeah, I love
It was actually at an open house that I hosted in Anaheim. And so now that I'm licensed realtor and LO, right?
Nice.
So when I was a realtor, I was doing an open house in Anaheim, and this lovely family walks in, like super, like, you know, oh, we're excited, like first time home buyers, you know, super stoked. And then all of a sudden, there's a car chase that like pulls up. It's like six police officers that pull into like the nearby corner, so like right in the corner, and they're just arresting this guy, like, you know, doing the whole nine. And the family just looks over and they're like, all right, I don't think this is the one.
I hope you guys have a great day.
What a wonderful, calm neighborhood.
Yeah, like, I was just like, okay, cool.
That's
like,
funny.
I accepted the L on that one.
Yeah,
Like,
you just
know
have to
what?
run with
It
that
is
one.
what-
That's
like,
great.
All right, second to last, guilty pleasure after closing a big deal.
Oh, I feel like getting some tacos is like a go-to, man. Like
Tacos?
Yeah, there's a spot like down the street from me that's Primo Tacos, or not Primo Taco, Primo Market, and they have 69-cent tacos every Tuesday and
Oh,
Friday.
that's fire.
Yeah, and I just tried their barbecue this weekend. Oh, it's straight fire.
Oh man! All right, next show, Primo Talk. We're doing it there.
Yeah.
we're gonna go do there. We're gonna take
Primo
the
Market.
show's going on the road.
I love it. Isaac, what about you, bro?
You know what? After my very, very first escrow, I took my family out to celebrate. And there's this really nice whiskey bar and grill over by my house. And they had a really, really nice tomahawk steak. And, you know, it was nice. It was ambiance. You know, they had a little show and everything for it. But I think a nice steak, after especially
love
after
that.
a hard deal, it's like, I'm
Get
gonna
you
enjoy
some.
this, you know. Like this was
Nice.
like you go out for the kill, you get the the hunt, you get the kill, and it's just like boom,
Boom.
You know?
Yeah.
Like that's kind of the reward mindset. And
I love that.
throw it back to the
Very metaphorical.
Yeah, I pictured all that. Honestly, for me, as of recently, it's to go play a new golf course.
Oh, that's a good one.
I like that.
Nice.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I'm trying to get into that.
Dude, we should definitely do it. Got him.
He's got. He's a golfer. I just got some clothes. But I haven't
Let's
used
go.
them.
We should all go. Definitely.
That'd be great.
All right, last one. In one word, what does success mean to you today?
Shoot.
I know what it is for you.
For me? Mm-hmm. Authentic.
I was gonna say freedom,
I don't mind.
Oh, that too. Yeah.
choices. How about you? I'm not trying to answer for you guys.
No, I mean, just I honestly did think long and hard, and I'm just like, you know, what is it, you know? And it's just freedom, you know. Like I think by financial freedom, time freedom, you know, just different things, covering even more so than the basic needs of life, you know, like just having the freedom to do something with your time and
I love that.
That's
wanting to go
great.
anywhere.
Being able to do what you want, when you want, with whoever you want, wherever you want.
Dude, that's solid. That's a solid answer, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
Of course.
That's all I got.
Well, you guys, thank you so much for, again, coming to the studio today. I know you're on the podcast tour today, so thank you for taking a minute to stop to our little corner of San Diego and also our little corner of the internet. And thank you all. If this is your first time tuning into Friends of Mortgage Heroes, you can find us here every week with another great guest, or in this case, guests. And if you're looking for either Isaac or Tristan's contact information, you can find that in the description box below. And if this is your first time here, make sure you like the channel, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. And if this video has something inside it that could help someone you know, love, and trust, please forward that to them or tag them below so that they can watch the quality content that these guys brought to the show today. Brian, you did a so-so job today. I'm just kidding. You did great. You did awesome today, Brian. And Isaac and Tristan, thank you guys for coming on to the show. We hope that this has been enjoyable for you, and congratulations on your first long-form podcast together. And I'm super proud that we were able to share that time together. So you guys, thank you so much for being here today.
Appreciate you, boys.
Yeah, we greatly appreciate you guys as well. We'll definitely have to I'll pick you up on that golf course.
Oh, bro.
Let's do it.
I told you I got him.
I'll go on a short run with you.
I love that.
But we
All right.
appreciate it. It means a lot.
Yeah, thank you guys for coming by, and thank you all for tuning in. We'll see you again next week with another great guest. Bye.
Thanks, guys.